Darkmoon finished it out with the Thief pick.
Interesting pick on the Thief.
I think the Fighter Rainbow Party, I think, is still one of our more popular groupings. But I have seen a lot of people pull the Thief as the final, just for the extra runs. Ooh, Brack, Fast, and Bane in our level 1 Black Magic. I think that's going to be pretty huge. But I think the even bigger fact to keep in mind is they don't have any wave clear spells. You don't see the Fire 2, the Fire 3, any of the lit spells, any of the ice spells that are going to give that early clear that most racers are really looking.
Exactly. So I mean, you're seeing Fast, which is a great spell to have. You're always worried whether you're going to have access to it. And Brack's always good for sort of fiend cheese. But when you're looking at Bane's a good spell early, but very quickly you're not going to be able to finish a mob with just a single Bane spell the way you might with even a Fire 2.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they do this.
We've got Darkmoon sprinting right into Garland and a quick kill there. Garland doesn't even get a chance to take him out. He did not check the chests in Temple of Fiends. So we'll have to see here if he goes back for them or if he's decided to skip those.
That's an interesting call. Also interesting, it looks like Harm 3 is Red Mage learnable. So we'll see if Cinema B catches that, and it looks like he did. So Harm 3 being, it looks like the only sweeper that's available. And that's interesting because Temple of Fiends, Bane, you've got a lot of undead, and Bane doesn't kill them, but Harm 3 will. So it's possible that Cinema will feel more comfortable making those chest checks.
Yep. We see Darkmoon headed over to Provoca for the next item check here with the pirate fight. And we do have Cinema B in the Temple of Fiends checking those chests on the left-hand side of Temple of Fiends. If they find anything there, I think that'll give them a bit of an advantage here.
You can expect that Darkmoon's probably going to come back and take a look at these chests, especially with the loose canal out there, but it's sort of good to avoid the double dip when you can.
Yeah, unfortunately for Cinema, there was just gold in those chests. We have Darkmoon now taking on the pirates. Without any clear spells still, so we're going the Bane and Brack strats into the pirates. Thankfully for Darkmoon, Bane is pretty effective against those pirates.
But pirates have nothing for magic defense, so Bane's gonna usually clear them all in one. Looks like Cinema's taking a bit of a grind, but interestingly enough, yeah, Cinema's gonna have the advantage going into Provoca because it's gonna have enough money to buy everything. You saw the pro rings that were there, silver armor for the red mage. All of that can be useful, and 6,000 is going to be enough to buy all the magic as well.
We do have Invis 2, level 2 white magic, learnable by that red mage, as all level 2 white magic is. And we get a wave clear spell here. We've got Fire 3 level 2 black magic. So they'll have a spell here going into, if they have to go into Marsh, which is looking increasingly likely at this point.
Yeah, so it looks like nothing really fancy. They don't have any nukes or fades going in, but they've got a strong set of early magic. They're not going to have any magic-related struggles, or at least they shouldn't. Got it looks like Darkmoon going immediately to check those Matoya chests. You don't want to clear Marsh and then discover that the canal is sitting in Matoya's cave, as it is this time.
As it is. Well called. What's the opposite of a commentator's curse?
I don't know, commentator's blessing? I don't think that's a thing, though.
There we go. All right, commentator's blessing. You've seen it here first, maybe for the first time. Ooh, and we were finding out that imps have stone poison over on Cinema B's side. They're running into a little bit of an issue looks like they're trying to get back up to the Temple of Fiends. I don't know if they wiped to Garland. I didn't quite see that.
This is an interesting play here. it could be yeah, I guess Cinema must have wiped to Garland.
We've got Darkmoon with the herb turn in, and our Prince just has a Thor hammer for us.
So
So a little
Bicky
bit
had
more
the
early
herb.
wave clear.
Bicky had the herb, and that Thor hammer is great because it allows the thief to feel like he's contributing.
The increased run percentage isn't enough contribution.
If you could run from chaos, it would totally be a contribution.
We've got Cinema Bee now taking on Garland, trying to Bane Garland away.
I remember Cinema Bee only has the one Bane charge. It was Darkmoon who grabbed Brack on both party members, but Cinema Bee only had Bane on the Black Mage, and then chose to use one in the Temple of Fiends. So it makes sense. If that Bane missed, then you have no way of killing Garland.
Well, thankfully this time for them, the Bane was successful. So down goes Garland, and it's 2 more items for Cinema Bee.
No early marsh dives today, it looks like, but no early canoe either. So the entire map opening up. It's Earth Cave that's incentivized right now, and Darkmoon has to decide between diving Earth and going to Crescent Lake, getting that incentive item, or ultimately even trying to fish out the vendor item in on-rack.
So where do you go here, Elasto? I think heading to on-rack I think is a risky play. I think you've got the Circle of Old Men. That's going to give you a free incentivized item, but it's quite a trek to get over there without much additional advantage.
Interestingly, Nuke is at level 3 there, so that's going to be learnable for everyone, and so is Cure 4. So level 3 is a stacked level. For Radin right now, you'd probably be looking at going to Crescent Lake as the safe play, because if the canoe is there and you miss it, then you're going to feel pretty silly.
Oof, and Fade and Life 2 at level 4 White Magic.
It looks like Fade
and then
and Temper and Warp.
Temper and Warp. We've got loaded early magic. You have everything you need in the first 4 levels here.
Fade is going to be White Mage only. And we've got a Vendor Crystal. Oh, so we might actually have a Marsh Cave dive. We have a Vendor Crystal for 51,000 gold.
Oof.
So now that changes things. You got to figure out where you're going to get some early gold.
Yeah, that 51,000 early is hard to come by. Hard to come by.
So there are a lot of ways to play this seed now. You could go to Earth Cave with that warp, like you could get some levels and get a few warp charges, and then dive Earth Cave, grab that incentive item, and run away. Double dipping Earth isn't great, but you're looking for chests right now, because you're not going to be like a pop grind would be a slow way to get enough money for that crystal. You could check Crescent Lake on the way, but there's a good chance that you're going to be served with a whammy there as well. So it's sort of a 50-50.
Looks like we've got Darkmoon power cycling to try to get up to dwarves without any encounters there. He did pick up 20 tenths, so camping's not going to be an issue for him early here.
Yeah, any one of these chests that he finds could be like 60,000 gold, and that would be the same thing as finding an incentive item. But instead, he finds 1,800 combined in those 2 chests. It's not going to do it, so he just doesn't even bother to keep it. He resets out. He's going to check Melman. He is not a gold piece to his name now. The innkeeper guessed correctly how much money Darkmoon had. It's 36, so looks like he's going to make the Earth play.
Yep. We did not get a level 5 magic check there, though. So I'm curious if we're going to go back and see that, or if even he thinks that we have the magic that we need at this point. I mean, there's not a lot of spells left on the list that he's going to be hunting for.
It would be nice to have Exit, but at level 5, you're often not going to have the level 5 magic anyway. And the fighter goes down to those trolls who are hitting pretty hard, and Darkmoon elects to reset out of that.
Taking a cozy dirt nap in the Earth Cave.
10,000 gold pieces in Earth in that chest is going to get him 20% of the way there. He's still got a lot of work to do, but he's going to be happy to find that chest.
Cinema Bee just taking out the pirates, getting the herb there. So they're going to be well on their way to getting a few more incentivized, getting that Thor hammer. Unfortunately for them.
Well, the Thor hammer is still going to be a useful weapon, and it looks like the arachnids have stun touch, and I think it was the spider that used squint. So Darkmoon electing not to reset out of this, despite his thief dying. I would agree with that. I would say, thief dying. Oh no, but he's gonna wind up resetting out anyway.
I was gonna say not only did they roll some nasty abilities there, but they're quite tanky as well.
That is a great fight to find to grind. Unfortunately, without the nuke charges yet, it's not going to be an easy fight to take. But once you have a few nuke charges, finding those evil men, they have a lot of XP for you.
Cinema Bee making her way down to Elfland, where we're going to get that herb turn in for the Thor's hammer. From there, we'll have to see where they go. Now we still have 2 loose items, so I would expect Darkmoon to clear out as many chests as they can here.
Cinema Bee using a Fire 3 on the Sahags might seem silly, but when a spell is resisted, it just does half damage, and Fire 3 still does a lot of damage for a Sahag group. It's not like later Final Fantasies where, if you're using fire on a water creature, it's just going to do 0 damage. In here, resistance is just half damage, so you can use ice on ice and still do a lot of damage. Looks like Darkmoon's going to have a difficult time getting out of here, though.
Darkmoon's got the solo thief run, is attempting to run out of Earth Cave with the spoils, and dirt nap time. So we've got the reset on Darkmoon's side. And looks like they're walking away from Earth.
And it's sort of rough. If he's level 4, if Darkmoon had his party at level 5, he would easily be able to use some nuke charges. And it looks like he's going to try and get that level 5 and take advantage of nuke, because once you... Was that the Gurogre that used squint?
Looks like it.
Oh, man. And he's going to reset out because he knows that Melman doesn't have a clinic.
Yep. So that's 2 pretty common early game enemies, with Squint now. Squint may be the Medusa script here.
And both of those enemies are huge staples of the Earth Cave. You're going to see a lot of Groger fights, and you're going to see a lot of arachnid fights. And that could be a problem. Like, if you had pro rings, then that would be fine. Oh, it's just the ogres and not the Grogers. That's actually a little helpful.
Unfortunately, pro rings are going to be another gold issue, though. They were 11,000. So, again, expensive, but...
I feel like at this point, it's time to go check what's in Crescent Lake. I understand where Darkmoon's coming from, wanting to... and it looks like he agrees.
It's almost like he can hear you.
Like, at this point, you don't know what the crystal is, but it's going to be hard to get to.
Ooh, and we have, it looks like Cinema Bee might be making the marsh play.
So when a player makes an early marsh play, when there's no canal in there, it can really determine the way the seed's going to go one way or the other. Cinema could get completely nothing. Cinema could find a crystal that turns into a canoe, or rather, could get the money for the crystal that turns into the canoe, or Cinema could find like a loose floater. Like anything could happen here.
I think almost any required item find in the Marsh Cave here is going to be huge for Cinema and is going to be a huge blow to Darkmoon's chances.
Darkmoon not check the sages?
I did not see him check the sages.
So interestingly enough, Darkmoon's in a spot where you know you go there to get that incentive item, but he's gonna try and get some levels first.
Unfortunately, that reset pack, it looks like it's a group of cobras and scorpions, which is not the most friendly grouping you can see here. Also, not the most EXP intensive either, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're always rooting for Peds, but you don't always get them.
Nope. So Cinema Bee not really finding much in the top of Marsh. Running into an unrunnable Bones and Crawl. Sure.
Yeah, but Cinema's got the Thor hammer. He's got Fire 3. He's got Harm 3. He's got all the tools that he needs to get through here. You know, on one side, you always want to avoid Marsh if you can, just because it can be dangerous. There's a lot of enemy types. On the other hand, everything in here has low HP. So if you can get turn order, then you often never even see what the enemies have. It looks like Cinema's immediately at level 6. So at least getting something out of here.
Yeah, a few levels here might help Cinema Bee get through kind of the initial Earth Cave that Darkmoon kind of struggled with.
And Darkmoon finding level 7 with the giants here. He's got some nuke charges. He's going to make use of these and should be able to grind fairly quickly to the next couple levels. Cinema Bee, interestingly, is just going to leave Earth Cave now.
Not gonna see what's in the bottom of Marsh. I think.
You know, Cinema didn't check Batoya. Cinema doesn't know that there's no canal in Marsh, but maybe just remembered, I should probably check those chests first.
Darkmoon finally getting his Pede fight that I think he was resetting and trying to find.
Darkmoon intent on keeping all of us in suspense as to what the sages have. So at level 9, Darkmoon's going to have 2 warp charges, which will be useful for taking on early Earth Cave.
We've got Ice 3 and level 6 Black Magic, the most powerful of the Elemental 3 level spells. And we've got a cube from our Circle of Sages.
So, one of the tiny optimizations that Darkmoon's missing here is when you're grinding, you know, you get an extra 5% HP or XP and gold from every fight per key item that you found. So would have had a little bit of a boost to the XP that he just ground for if he had grabbed that cube before he did those fights.
Darkmoon stocking up on his purchasable items here, getting as many heals as he can. Looks like he's going to burn down all that gold that all those fights netted him.
Cinema acting a lot more deliberate, thinking out his choices a lot more, but he's gonna have found the same magic that that Darkmoon did, and it looks like he's getting ready to stock up potentially for another Marsh Cave dive, but hopefully he's gonna remember to check Matoya and the Dwarf Cave first.
Looks like Darkmoon may have reset and lost his cube. Yep.
Moon spending potentially more money than he wanted to, having to reset out.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't have enough money for the inn after buying all of those.
Oh yeah, and he's gonna want to reset his spell charges, and he's not gonna want to like use one of the houses he just bought.
There we go. Looks like you called it right. Cinema be heading up to Matoya now. Gonna find that canal. Gonna escape our inner sea. And we'll have to see where they go after that. We could see some pretty decent route divergence here.
Yeah, you can see a lot of people wouldn't be using Fire 3 on the Sahags, but they rolled pretty low HP. They have 27 or below, because 27 damage was killing them. So Fire 3 is going to do a perfectly fine job. Finally, these EXPs fights that Darkmoon was looking for.
So, after his early struggles in Earthcave, do you think he takes this grind relatively far, or do you think we're seeing the cap here at about, what is he at, like about level 10, level 9 right now?
Hey, so Cinema B actually had enough money to buy the crystal. So Cinema B finding the adamant. That's interesting. So Cinema B may have forgotten the Matoya chest could contain canal, but it's irrelevant because he found enough money in Marsh Cave to buy the crystal. So crystal led to adamant, and he found the canal while he was there. This is an interesting route divergence because he's going to be the first one to see what adamant is, and if adamant is canoe, he could be ahead.
It looks like Darkmoon is ending his grind at level 10 and maybe heading back directionally. It looks like he might be heading back towards that Earth Cave.
And that's going to be the right play given what Darkmoon knows. With the
but he's sailing.
So taking the circuitous route, he wants to be the first one to circumnavigate this globe. I think you get an advantage in Civ 4. I think you gain an extra movement if you're the first one to circumnavigate. So
that you do.
Or he could be going. He's got the chime and the cube. He could be making the Mirage play, which would be impressive. As we find the adamant was just the power bonk, so useful, but not entirely. Power bonk, as we all know, is the gauntlet with the power stone, which you can use to increase your strength and do more damage.
I always imagine they're just snapping their fingers to get more powerful.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you take a turn to snap your fingers and gain damage, and then just try to avoid Thanos.
Yep.
But it looks like, yeah, Darkmoon's making the incredibly ambitious play of going for Mirage. This is probably going to be a dig of chess. He's going to reset out. He wants that fighter alive for any XP he finds. This is probably going to be just a dig for chess, because it's very ambitious to try to take on Tiamat. Although he does have level 1 Brack, so it's not impossible.
Yeah, those level 1 Brack and Bane charges might be the magic bullet he needs to get through, but looks like we are... Is he heading back to...
It looks like
back to the Mirage Tower?
He was saving on the sea, and it looks like he lost track of where his last tent was, so he's just trying to get his bearings. For
those new runners out there, if you hit B and push the select button, you will get a map of the world that shows you exactly where you are. Unfortunately, that map is rather slow to load, which is why in a speed scenario, it's not exactly the best thing to load up for you.
Yeah, so looks like Cinema getting back around to that's Crescent Lake, and despite being generally slower in execution, Cinema's like behind in knowledge because Cinema hasn't checked Earth Cave, but is going to be about tied in terms of progression.
Oof,
And there's a loose key in
and
Mirage.
so the floor 1 of Mirage, we just saw the white shirt, the key, and the max gold chest. So turns out this may have been the play.
The hilarious thing about this, Darkmoon lost the his first race against Gregglypuff. When Gregglypuff made the early Mirage play and found a loose cube.
Ooh, looks like we're going to the greater than less than room.
Looks like Darkmoon opting not to grab the white shirt again. It can be a useful item, but Invis 2 is available early and just says, I don't need it. I'd much rather nuke down vampires.
Hey, that is great early experience. I can't blame him for that.
It's great early experience, and with that find, Darkmoon jumps far into the lead, and potentially, could that route could be the necessary route. That key blocks something very important. So if it does, then Darkmoon could potentially put the game out of reach unless Cinema makes the same Mirage play early. The dragon armor. This Mirage tower is completely loaded.
Now, the one thing that Darkmoon hasn't found yet is a sword. He has no weapons currently equipped to his fighter or his thief or his red mage. So I would say he's gonna be hard pressed to continue into the Sky Palace if he's gonna without a weapon.
Yes and no. I mean, he's got Nuke, which is the only weapon you really need. He's got he's using the Fire 3. He's planning on diving this Mirage into Sky a little farther. You can see because he's using Fire 3 on these vampires instead of the Nuke. He's trying to preserve Nuke charges, maybe make his magic last a little longer. Ooh, he's only got 50 heal pots, and those vampires with the Fire 2. I don't know if you want to make that risk again. Having the Thor hammer is gonna help because that's an infinite amount of wave clear magic.
Ooh, and a big Medusa fight. Now, does he take this for the extra Medusa experience, or do you think he's gonna run away here?
Well, the cool thing about getting ambushed there is he saw that they probably don't have any dangerous skill, right? So he's gonna take the XP. He may have forgotten that his thief has a Thor hammer, choosing instead to punch. But beyond that, it looks like he's just gonna clear this out and get as many levels as he can. He's got warp, so he can exit anytime he wants.
All right, we've got a little party rotation here on Darkmoon's side. We've got the thief up front now, and
the spider squints his thief.
And the thief is immediately knocked down. And the fighter's back at the front of the party. It was just a quick side.
The thief doing the thing that he is best at, his greatest contribution to any party has been dying in the place of another member of the party. So that was really the dream for Thief, his best use of Thief right there.
Just absorbing the big first blow.
And Fighter choosing to punch rather than using that Thor hammer. I believe that Darkmoon may have forgotten he has it.
And we've got Cinema Bee now diving into the Earth Cave. Maybe they'll find a little less resistance, but we still haven't seen what the... So Earth is our incentivized temple this week, or our incentivized cavern. So there is an incentivized item in Earth Cave, in the chest behind the vampire.
Yeah.
We have yet to find out what that is.
Because extended open progression isn't on, finding the floater would not allow you to fly. He needs the canoe and the floater. So the biggest advantage that he could get would be to find a canoe or a floater. But if one of them is key locked, then ironically, if he finds something that takes him away from Mirage Tower, he would be progressing backwards, so to speak. But he's definitely gonna have an easier time in Earth Cave than Darkmoon did, because he's way ahead of level 4. The fighter goes down, and that's gonna spell probably a good time for Darkmoon to pull the plug on this and warp out with the levels and equipment he has. He's making a decision, and looks like
Oh,
looks like
takes
while he
2
was
steps and finds the eye encounter.
it looks like his indecision cost him, although not too much, because the eye goes down easily. With
He
that,
does no
oh,
warp on the
he's
red mage.
gonna heal up. He's gonna try and get those other chests. This may not be the most safe play. Oh no, he's not gonna do it.
All right, we're warping out.
He used the house to replenish his magic. He does not have life 2 on that red mage.
It doesn't look like there's
Just
any
life
level
2.
4 magic on the red mage, so I'd be interested to
Yeah,
see
if he
how
had
long it
purchased
takes him to
life
get
2,
back for that.
yeah, he would have been able to continue, but you know, unfortunately didn't grab that magic. Gold being the commodity that it was. So looks like the other grind tile in Earth was the Argoyles.
And as fun as Argoyles are, I doubt we're going to see either of our runners grinding on that tile.
Yeah, our Argoyles are all right, but they're not evil men, you know. Them choosing to forego using nuke and just using the Fire 3 on the Nightmare. The Nightmare is weak to ice, but you know, ice 3 is not available here, so he's gonna use what he has. And in this case, doing 25 damage with the spell isn't gonna cut it, and the thief goes down.
Now, Darkmoon sailed all the way around to get back to Crescent Lake, but there is actually a dock north of Provoca that does allow you to, park your ship there, and he could have gotten back to Provoca from there. I'm curious to see if it doesn't look like there was anything particularly interesting in Crescent Lake for him, so I'm wondering if he didn't know about that dock was there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends where he was going next, right? Because it appears destination is going to be to find that power bonk. He does. Oh, he's also got key lock to check as well. No, he's going to be checking the key lock chests in Elfland likely, and buying that crystal because he's got enough money for it. Unfortunately for him, it's not a good time to be outside of the inner sea because it's going to take a while for him to get around.
Also interesting, he did not revive his fighter or his thief in his stop at Crescent Lake. We have Cinema B taking the grind on those evil men that we had talked about earlier.
He's gonna grab life 2, I think, in or Darkmoon is gonna grab life 2 in Elfland, and if he does, then he'll be more prepared for the eventuality that he just endured. It looks like Cinema grabbed the slab. No, we already had the slab from the king. I'm just not paying attention. That's interesting because both of them went to Melmond, and neither of them bothered to turn in the slab. So
There
at
we
this
have our
point, when you're
crystal
finding the
purchase.
crystal, yeah, you're finding the crystal, and you've got all these key lock things to check. You really want to find either the floater before you're find the key, or you wanna find the key early so you can do key lock while you're still in the inner sea, because it is a drag to sail all the way back around and then uh, check all those chests and find nothing there, because there's no incentivized key lock item in these flags.
All right, so we've got Darkmoon finally with some gold in his pockets, picking up those spells um, that we expected him to pick up at some point. You're not going to turn down having Temper, having Warp, having Lock, having Life 2, all at level 4 there.
Absolutely, Lock 2 and Lock in these flags, they had a balance change where it would always hit. So when you encounter something that has well, like Lock 2 can actually be useful against, for example, Frost D's. But more importantly, when you run into a Tiamat or a Kraken or a Chaos that you just can't hit, it's really useful to have a lock in your back pocket.
So we've got Darkmoon checking the key lock chest in the Northwest Castle. Maybe he'll check the trap tiles here to see if there's a solid grind spot.
Looks like
And we've got
Cinema's
our
getting a little
Hydras.
lost. Wow, that is a nice grind tile.
This is not a bad grind tile. It's not the ideal tile, but it is a good grind tile for the experience that I think he needs right now.
Yeah, so
On
he's
Cinema
gonna
Bee's
be
side, we
here
just
in
found
a
the Sun Sword, which is a great upgrade from that Silver Axe.
Yeah, the red mage not going to be able to equip that axe, but that's fine. The red mage has nuke, and that's better than anything else you need.
Darkmoon nuking down some more R Hydras.
It looks like Cinema B was getting a little lost here in Earth Cave. Uh, wasn't sure exactly where to go to get those chests. So we'll see if Cinema catches the other three on the left. It looks like he's going back for them.
We did see Darkmoon get to those chests, but I don't think he found anything valuable there.
But whatever it is he found, he was unable to walk it out.
This is also true. We do have Cinema B discovering how unfortunate those arachnids are, and now she finds out the giants might be one of the more friendly encounters here. Darkmoon continues his grind. It looks like he's down to his last few nuke charges here. I'm starting to doubt whether or not he'll pull out a house and continue his grind, or if he's just pulling out or removing all the charges that he does have. Oh, and we did find the game changer, the Vorpal Sword, in our 3 chest cluster there in Earth Cave.
Oh yeah, so no reason to walk that out. Well, dual moose. Let me see. Dual Musa Shadul, if I said that right. Chat saying Team Vorpal sometimes. Alright. Yeah.
DMD.
Saying Team Vorpal sometimes. Sometimes is, I think, too often. But
Team Vorpal if forced.
Cinema taking a very different route, but that's sort of expected because it's not a common thing to make the early Mirage play, though I guess it becomes more common when you lose a race to that play.
And we do have Cinema B checking the way off to the side chest in Earth here. You don't often see that chest get checked unless we're going for a full clear. I think there are plenty of racers out there that'll often skip that chest. Unfortunately for him, there's just some gold in there. It's always interesting to find something extremely valuable there. Uh, really, really kind of feel like your opponent probably won't check that chest.
In all other flag sets where Earth Cave isn't incentivized, usually people want Earth to be the last dungeon they clear because there's not a lot of good experience from the enemies here. There are a lot of trash mobs, and it's sort of better to be in there at high levels, so they're all just running away, because there's not really much benefit to killing them.
Darkmoon turns in his crystal and finds the adamant. He's on his way to getting his, I believe that was the power bonk.
Was the power bonk. So yeah, usually you're going to want to clear Earth Cave at a point where you're already in go mode, so you can skip a lot of these chests. But in these flags, it's incentivized, so Earth early is a more common reality. And we're about to see the vampire. We know the vampire has fire too, so it actually could be a threat if he doesn't go down early.
Fire 3, Sunsword makes quick work of that vampire-shaped speed bump, and we do have the canoe. The canoe is the incentive item in Earth here.
Oh, that's
a
so
big
big.
pickup.
If these key checks, like they yield a ribbon, and that's great, but so far we haven't seen any progression in this key locked area, and clearing out key lock chests when you're sailing.
So Cinema Beat pops out, saves, and heads back in for more evil men grinding.
Wow, this seems like it could be a Darkmoon's race to lose, but considering unless Darkmoon can find progression coming out of these key lock chests, there's a good chance that it's neck and neck. So far, the ribbon that we found in key lock is useful, but it's not necessary.
Now, I think there are some racers out there that might not think that. I mean, the ribbon as a late game armor item, or even at an any time armor item, is extremely valuable. You get the resistance to... Is it resistance to everything? Resistance to everything except for time magic, I think?
Oh, including time magic.
Including time.
And a lot of racers are going to argue that a ribbon is necessary, but they will never argue that ribbon is necessary. Right? There's always a chance, there's 3 ribbons out there, and you're usually going to find at least one. So missing out on the one that was in key locked would be a drag. Not going to be essential. And so far we found Excalibur also in key locked, so that's going to be a useful end game weapon. But not any immediate progression.
And I mean, in order to use that X-Cal, we're going to need to find a tail, and we're going to need to find a floater, which are not required items, so we may not even see them this seed.
It looks like there's a good chance that Cinema and Darkmoon are going to high-five as Cinema is on his way out, and Darkmoon goes back into the Earth Cave, as that's the only play on the table really right now.
Apart from, let's see, he could go back to Sky. I think that's the only other play really on the table for him.
Yeah, but in this case, you're going to want to be checking for that incentivized item. Yeah, he's done grinding. He's not looking for any more XP. He's just trying to get that item.
Interestingly, he did not save outside of Earth Cave, so if he does have to reset here, he's going to be back at Melmond.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous. I mean, he's hoping that nothing's gonna really ambush him with something scary, but if he gets ambushed by like images or mummies, and they have something, then he may be full of regret here.
I'm surprised his early dives didn't put the fear in him, though. I know when I struggle with an early with some early dives, I hesitate to head back to that location.
That said, he does have a ribbon, so he has a fair amount of safety. He's gonna find his sun sword.
Have you seen what level Cinema Bee is right now? Looks like he's grinding level 20. We've got level 20 on Cinema Bee's side.
Yeah. I don't always endorse grinding, but if you do, it's useful to grind early because you spend more of the seed having that XP. That said, 30 seems or 20 level 20 seems a little more than is necessary at this point. He's gonna be
And,
perfectly safe going through everything. At this point, he's just bleeding time.
and the grind continues even. 20 is not our stopping point. We've got Darkmoon running into a little bit of trouble with our arachnid friends again.
The arachnids having stun touch, but it looks like it's mostly just going to be a delay tactic. Yeah, so both runners in Earth, they've taken very different routes. In terms of progression, it looks like Cinema Bee is actually ahead, but is quickly bleeding time with this grind here. Darkmoon's going to find that canoe and then retake the lead.
Oof,
Unless that bat has
bat is in
anything
a
to say
rough
with
spot.
there is a flag currently in development on the beta site called NPC Guillotine, where if you talk to an NPC, they will disappear. Anybody who wants to see an end of those bat trolls can go onto the beta site and help them test that flag. Or if you want them to continue, don't test that flag because it's always funny to see a racer get stuck.
I think one of the issues they were having with that one is you were able to talk to the plates that require the rod and the loot in the Earth Cave and the Temple of Fiends Revisited. You were able to talk to the plate, and the plate would disappear. So it would bypass your required loot and required rod, which is a little bit game breaking.
Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy game is not one that has a lot of sequence breaks. I mean, it's possible to go into the it's possible to get the slab from the Sea Shrine and use that, like leave Sea Shrine and go kill T-Bat. But usually the fiends are going to be done in the correct order. So I guess the only way to really have a sequence break is for us to program it in. And so the images have slow, which when they ambush you with slow isn't going to hurt you, but it will slow you down in terms of just costing you time. So Darkmoon failing his run, he's just going to be slowed.
Cinema Bee leaving Earth Cave with all of those levels. I guess I would have expected. I suppose he has the required item, but does not, or has the incentivized item, but does not have the rod yet. So a deeper dive in Earth isn't warranted here.
It's not in the cards, So that's the downside of having to go to Earth early. Is without the rod, you're never going to be able to full clear it.
With the canoe, though, that does open up. It opens up waterfall. It opens up ordeals. It opens up volcano, and it opens up ice cave right away for Cinema Bee here.
You gotta expect that ice cave is the play. Like when you grind to level 22, you don't fear ice cave anymore.
Along with the
If
fact that we do have warp charges available to us, so warp charges make it easy to get in and get out if that is the goal. But with a loose item still out there, I guess I would expect if we do head to Ice Cave here, I would expect most of those chests to get checked.
you're gonna want to full clear ice if you do it. It can be really frustrating to die multiple times in there, but it can also be real frustrating to have to double dip it. So the expectation is going to be that he's going to full clear Marsh and probably Gurgu before he goes south. And I don't disagree with that play. You know, there's a good chance that he's going to find a floater and be flying first, and that'll be a large advantage. It's that Darkmoon found wound up being sort of a whammy, you know, because contain any progression. So he wound up doing all that on boat when there's a good chance that his opponent's going to be doing all those checks from the air, and that's just time lost.
I do wanna throw out there though that getting a loose item early, I always enjoy, regardless of what it is, because then you know that one of your 2 loose items is off the table. Getting those loose items out of the way really is a good way to kind of speed up what you're able to do. Because once you have those 2 loose items out of the way, you're able to go mode the rest of the fiend dungeon.
Exactly. So a lot is going to turn on the order in which Cinema B tackles these orb dungeons. Because if Cinema B saves the Mirage Tower Sky for last, it's going to be a lot of needless chest checking. If Mirage comes first, then it's going to be potentially the same thing.
And I guess my expectation here, we've got both runners headed to Ice Cave right now. Both gonna hang out with the undead and the icicles.
Yeah, so let's see what this item is. And
Here's the rod.
the rod. So it was a route required double dip of earth.
That's just the seed being
You know,
mean.
Yeah. This will do that. It looks like it's a nacho on the grind tile, which would be more interesting if we hadn't already had both runners complete various grinds. I think if anybody stops for XP at this point, it's like a level 50 meme.
So we do have Cinema B with the level advantage. I know his 3 up characters are level 22 at this point. But we have Darkmoon, who's a little bit behind that. I believe his characters are about level 16, level 17 maybe. But both are in
like
really good shape level wise.
But Darkmoon has the advantage in equipment of having a ribbon. So Darkmoon has actually a little bit. He's less likely to die here. A DMD in chat saying they always hated Ice Cave. Yeah, that makes you a human being. I'm pretty sure that qualifies as a CAPTCHA test. Is did you hate Ice Cave? And if you check yes, then it proves you're a human.
That poor 2% of players that enjoyed the Ice Cave never passed the CAPTCHAs. Stuck as robots. Maybe they live in waterfalls.
They are robots. I suspect that that's working as intended.
All right.
Ice Cave was always a difficult dungeon in the vanilla game because it always came before you had access to warp, so you couldn't cheese those you couldn't cheese the holes there. It's it's got a small map, but it's a very large dungeon because it forces all that backtracking with those holes and
And
the eye fight in vanilla.
that's not even to mention the big the huge walk that you have to take just to get into the beginning of this cave. You have the first floor and the second floor are just two big square walks that take forever.
It,
Particularly when you're at vanilla speed. Here in the randomizer, the character walking on land is actually the same speed as the boat, I believe.
I think it's actually a little bit faster. I think the boat is the slowest mode of travel in the vanilla game, or in the randomized game, which is interesting and another reason why you want to be able to fly as soon as you can. Is progression, but it is not the floater we were looking for. At this point, if you're Darkmoon or if you're Cinema B, you got to be looking, and they're going to leave at about the same time. You got to be looking. If the floater isn't loose, it's going to be in Ordeals or Waterfall.
I would be
So,
curious actually if one of our two runners would head back to
the
Earth at this point.
two places you'd want to be checking.
We've got
Although
Grim.
Gurgu is not necessarily a terrible play as well.
We've got our
You don't
Gurins
lose
with
too
Thunder.
much time.
I don't think we saw that earlier.
Rowing over there.
If we do end up in the volcano, that would be a little bit of proximity routing, I think, taking it out because it's closer.
And it makes sense, and it could always pay off, you know. If you have a loose floater in Volcano, then you'll be real glad that you didn't wait until you were flying before you went there. It's like Darkmoon's making the Volcano play.
And I think just from a chest density standpoint, I think that might be the better play because of the sheer number of chests that we have on Volcano 2 here.
It's always hard to say, like, nobody's rooting to make, like looking forward to making the big, long sea trek all the way down to on-rack. It can be a drag. You know, you could find a fetch quest that requires you to sail all the way back up, and that fetch quest may or may not be something useful. So it's
single dungeon.
not a
DMD in chat asks which single dungeon has the most chests.
Sky Palace. Well, Sky Palace and Mirage, because they're the same dungeon essentially, combined have the most chests for sure.
I think it's 52 altogether.
Something
We've
like
got Darkmoon picking up the black shirt from the hairpin chest. Might give him an advantage clearing some of these mobs in the volcano.
That's the first access to ice magic. Obviously, Nuke kills everything, but you know, Nuke also, like, if you use it to kill everything, you kill your spell charges. So it's nice to have something in the back pocket. In terms of minor optimizations, you see on the way here to Gurgu, Darkmoon gained a whole lot of time just because he was using the save items to skip overworld encounters, and Cinema B was trying to run away from them. And as while running away is faster than taking a lot of fights, it's a lot slower than having them never happen.
And we've got a Massa. Darkmoon finds the Mass Moon chest. Mass Moon in the chests, the two chests right here, one with the trap tile in front of it. He's got to be happy with that find.
Absolutely, even though finding the Mass Moon is going to make that Excalibur check less useful, it's still a good check to find. It's definitely going to make the next few dungeons a lot easier.
And then we have Cinema Bee picking up the massive just after.
DMD pointed out that Cinema could have missed that mass mutant. It's possible, but it's rare that you check the hairpin chest, but you don't full clear this floor. Right. What's interesting is that both runners chose to go for the low density area first, and there's the defense sword as well.
A defense sword, a
All
dragon sword. That was 4 swords in a row there.
armory living up to its name, having all the weaponry in here.
Well, we went almost the first 30 minutes of the game without finding a good sword, so now we found all of them. So if you had find Excal, Massa, Vorpal, and defense sword on your bingo cards, make sure you mark that off.
If you had Vorpal on your bingo card, you can tear up your bingo card.
Just drop it in the volcano.
Drop it in the volcano with the sword itself.
Cinema Bee saving a few steps by warping out of the armory there. I do believe that does save him a few steps when running back and forth.
But also choosing not to save outside. Looks like neither runner is going to. They have levels, so it makes sense. But you know, when you're doing what they're doing, which is running all over the lava there's also a good chance that you're going to get caught with low HP.
So you'll notice that the runners are stepping on the lava tiles as much as possible. The reason they're doing that is to avoid increasing their step counter. So the lava tiles, while dealing damage to the party, do not increase the step counter that they're on.
Which means they're never going to have to take any encounters on the lava tiles. And so people who went through Gerdu Volcano casually would typically avoid the lava as much as they could. So they take, ironically, as many steps as possible and make the dungeon a whole lot harder for themselves.
It is counterintuitive to step on hot lava, though, right?
Yeah. You know, fans of 8-bit theater will remember that Carrie was very proud of the lava traps, because where you would expect ground to be, there was lava. It was madness. And Cinema Bee and Darkmoon literally in the same fight on the same trap tile. This race is neck and neck. The only difference is the presence of that key on Darkmoon's side, which may or may not turn into lead, and the additional levels on Cinema Bee's side.
I guess I'm not sure. On my front, I think I might trade having a few extra levels for, seeing an early key like that.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's going to depend entirely on the route. And we find the worms in that Agama tile. So many great grinds in this game. The worms gonna possibly tempt Darkmoon into blowing a little bit more time. Darkmoon's got all the levels that he needs, but it's really hard not to just nuke him down.
So that if you get 4 worms, that 4-worm encounter possible on that trap tile is the highest experience encounter in the game. The problem with it is that the worms are not weak to much and hit extremely hard on average. So it's not typically worth a grind, but the excess levels that they already have right now may lend itself to that.
It looks like Darkmoon's definitely going to take at least one fight here. It is worth more than 4 gas dragons. I don't know if it's worth more than 2 iron galls.
The 4-worm encounter is worth more than the 4 gasties, but only by just a little bit.
It's also a lot easier than the 4 gasties, which a lot of people consider to be important. I don't know that there are 4 Iron Galls. If there were 4 Iron Galls, then it would definitely beat it.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure about. I don't believe there is a 4 Iron Gall encounter that is possible.
I think you're right. I think that they only come in pairs. Yeah, they only come in pairs. So if there were a 4 Iron Gall fight, that would definitely be the highest XP fight in the game.
And
But it's
we
not,
just saw it real fast, but at
excepting, of course, 4
1
minutes.
hour and 4 minutes in, we have our first orb lit on Cinema Beast side. Carrie went down without much of a fight.
When you're level 20 or 23, Carrie will probably consider it unfair.
23
We
with
may
plenty of nukes and the Massimian.
we may actually get a complaint from Carrie regarding the tactics that are being employed against her. She prefers to fight parties of level 12 to 14.
Written in fire.
Yeah, I believe that's her preferred medium. So
All right, so if my lawn is messed up next week, I'll know who to blame. The incentivized chest in the... So it is not incentivized this week, but the chest at the bottom of Volcano was a wooden shield DMD. So
yeah, the
not
red
worth
D
the
chest,
pull.
red D chest, which is one of the more frustrating chests in the game because it requires 3 trap tiles to check.
And I guess I'm not sure if there are any chests in the game that require that many checks outside of that one. At least not in quick succession.
Seriously, it looks like Carrie wanted to be a gatekeeper because Carrie's taken a lot of abuse here. Having a fair amount of HP.
Ooh, and
But
Darkmoon finds the
both
worm
runners,
fight immediately after the carry battle. That's why it's important to save before you take any steps, because you can find encounters in between the fiend battle and the altar where you light the orb. It's particularly important.
I
Go
think
ahead
you
there,
mean
Lasta.
heal before you take any steps, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I have seen a runner, I'm not going to name any names, but I have seen a runner kill a fiend and then immediately exit and forget to light the orb on the altar.
Hate to see
And, well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people hated to see it. I was quite tickled.
it. I mean, I myself have seen somebody wipe in between the carry battle and the altar there. You can run into a seafood party pack that knocks your party to its knees, particularly if you see a tough Kraken. Excuse me, Kraken, not carry.
Yeah, the Kraken's way more likely to do that. Especially because you often get out of that fight with like one low HP party member, and you feel like you can take the risk of taking a couple steps and then just heal it at the end, but sometimes you really shouldn't do that.
That's when you are rewarded for your hubris. So we have Cinema Beast stopping into the Crescent Lake. He, stopped in the item shop there to pick up some gold rings, some gold Cheerios. I don't know that Darkmoon, ever checked that armor shop to see those gold Cheerios there.
Yeah, it's not clear, but Darkmoon's new play. So they both left around the same time. Cinema, again, executing just a little bit slower, is slower to leave Crescent Lake. But it looks like Darkmoon is going to finish Earth Cave. And Cinema B is, I think more correctly, going out to find the incentivized items. Cinema B sailing south.
So we could see quite a few different checks here on Cinema Beast's side. We could see a waterfall check. We could see a Castle of Ordeals check. We don't have the Oxyel yet, so we can't dive water yet.
And we've also already seen the vendor item.
Oh,
A
we do
lot of
have a
the
map. We do have a map check.
And yeah, Cinema B still like a graduate from the Duckland Derby, but still a little bit you know fresh. Still learning. This is gonna be Cinema's 8th SRL race, so it's not surprising to see just the occasional check, the occasional having to reroute. He can I think good judgment with this play and checking waterfall.
I would like to see the Castle of Ordeals check first, I think. I guess my preference is always to hope that I would have found Oxio. That way I would have been able to do the waterfall and clear out the water temple at the same time.
That's a fair point. I tend to like waterfall only because when I'm running, floater's always in waterfall. So Darkmoon losing his red mage means he loses the revival, which isn't going to be too much danger for this dungeon. He's got the levels and he's got the ribbon, but it does mean that it's going to take him a while to revive someone. Because Melman doesn't have a clinic.
It's true. We do have the chest checks here. Oh, we've got a pro ring. Probably going to dump some armor to pick up the pro ring there. I know me personally, this room that Darkmoon is in right now was the room that I had the hardest time learning the trap tile route there.
This was one of the few rooms where I learned about routing from rando play, because I was a big player of Final Fantasy, the vanilla game, and I knew a lot about the routing, but I didn't know that you could creep behind those chests back there. So that was always interesting when I discovered that.
I know the first time that I watched somebody clear that room without taking any of those trap tiles, it was a new day. It was a new dawn for me.
And now you see people like Gregory Puff checking those trap tiles anyway because he wants to find the 4 worm fight that everybody else misses. Although in this case, obviously,
or that
nobody
3-eye grind potential.
I grind the iron galls with under 200 HP. You know, there's always something to find.
On a wing and a prayer? On a hope and a dream? All right, so let's see what our robot friend has for us. A ton of gold so far.
Just want to make it clear, robots aren't my friend.
And Ruby. We've got the Ruby.
The Ruby. So the Ruby is, interestingly, it leads to 2 checks, because you're going to be able to check Sarda and the incentivized treasure trove. Right, so it could very well have floater behind it. So now Cinema B has a decision to make. Because you could sail all the way north and see if that Ruby will give you the floater, or you could go to Ordeals on boat. What do you think you would do?
I'm always a fan of proximity routing. So because Ordeals is close, I would be headed to Ordeals right now if I were in Cinema B's shoes.
Absolutely. I tend to agree. I feel like even if floater is behind the Ruby, you know, it's going to be faster to sail to Ordeals from Onrak than it's going to be to fly there, because there's such a long route walking to Ordeals.
And I always appreciate being able to dock the boat at that river there and walk to the Castle of Ordeals, as opposed to landing the airship. The airship requires you to land so far away from Castle of Ordeals and take a rather long walk. So we'll see Cinema B dock the boat right here at the river, and it's just a quick skip down to Castle of Ordeals. Whereas if you do have the airship, it is what is it, 127 steps or something that you have to take to walk the path from the
Something like
closest
that.
skyship landing location.
Like you can get through it really fast with a lot of save items, but and sometimes people like making the trek because you can get some interesting fights on the way. Right, you can run into a Tyro in that desert area, or you could find sandwiches, which everybody likes to find.
Ooh, and Cinema gets sent
That
back to the
said,
beginning. We find an upper corner chest check. So we will see Cinema's checking this check. Oh, gets the tail.
oh,
Loose tail.
loose tail, like we didn't shuffle it very far away. That particular check, incidentally, were in that Zeus Gauntlet chest. People often make that check because they want to see the trap tile, because that's an uncommonly checked trap tile. And the reason people usually don't check that chest is because it's linked to one of the 4 chests on the next floor. So you're gonna see Cinema B when he checks those 3 chests. Let's see if he checks all 4 chests, and finds the empty one.
So I think we call that the French vanilla tail. Is that the common nomenclature?
I think so. I think that a lot of coffee drinkers like to name things like that. So it is the French vanilla tail.
I mean, I'm game for a different flavor. If you are.
I mean, there's not a lot you can do with vanilla. That's what makes it so vanilla.
So we'll see. I believe this one is. Oh nope, the one on the end. There we go. That treasure
And there
box
you
is
see an
empty.
empty
So
chest. Yeah, and that chest is empty because he already opened it. That chest, when Darkmoon checks it, will have the tail in it.
and there's our floater.
So it's a good thing that he didn't make that ruby check. So Darkmoon is he's ahead by the orb. He's done the Earth dungeon, but hasn't done Waterfall. So it's hard to say who's ahead. I'm gonna say just given execution, it looks like Darkmoon's gonna be a little bit ahead when all this is said and done, though.
I would agree with you there.
But still, anyone's game.
Absolutely, still wide open. I think one thing to point out in Cinema B's favor, though, is still the levels. Cinema B is Topher ready at this point, with levels 25, 26.
Yeah,
Not to say that Darkmoon is unprepared at all. He's still scooting around. I think at level 19, maybe level 20 at this point.
The problem with being Topher ready when you still got 3 orbs to clear is you're going to be way ahead of Topher when you finally enter. You know, and you don't get any special award for clearing Topher at level 35. You know, like if Topher is difficult, then Cinema B may very well be glad that he spent so much time grinding. But if not, then he's probably going to regret 3 or 4 of the minutes that were spent there.
So we've got Darkmoon now has his tail and his floater. I think Cinema B got a little lost again on the map here. Darkmoon took the direct route, is taking the direct route. Looks like to turn in the floater. Basically turned around, headed straight north, and is now headed northeast over to the desert in order to
Cinema B
turn in
went
his floater.
south, Darkmoon went north. They're both going to the same place. Oh man, it's gonna be a photo finish for who gets into the air first. So Darkmoon has the edge because again, he's using those save items to skip encounters.
At 1 hour and 19 minutes in. Oh, looks like
Cinema B
Darkmoon.
flies first. He stole it from Fire.
Darkmoon reset there. I'm not quite sure what the game plan was, but both runners now in the air. Looks like we've got Cinema Bee headed over to Elfland to pick up some more magic, I would imagine. And we've got Darkmoon checking the incentivized locations, so we're going to get a Sarda check here real quick.
So happy that happened. There was
And
way
we've got a
more hype
crown.
over who was flying first than I expected.
All right, Sarda's got a crown. And Darkmoon does not have his ruby yet, so he can't make that ruby check behind the Titan. He's going to turn in his slab now. Oh, maybe? There we go. Talk to Dr. Un. See what the good doctor has for him.
Dr. Un, incidentally, incredibly great teacher. He will teach you the Lefanish language in a matter of minutes, which is fairly impressive, though, to be fair. The Lefanish language is just the word lupa. So the faster you learn what that word means, the faster you learn the language, right?
I heard that not only does he have 5 stars on Rate My Professor, but he also has a bunch of those little hot tamales next to his name, too.
And it's very difficult to get a good score on Rate My Professor. Students are very cruel.
All right, so we did get the loot from the crown turn-in, which is excellent. Another required item to finish the game here. We do have Cinema Bee turning in the ruby now, doing the ruby check. So we will get to see what this is. We did not get to see what it was on Darkmoon's side.
Darkmoon gonna turn in the tail. Gonna get that class change.
We got the TNT. So now that both of our, I shouldn't say both of our runners, Darkmoon now has both of our loose items, and will not have to check all of these chests now. So can pretty efficiently sprint through to the incentivized locations or to the end of the Fiend Dungeon.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, because Cinema has found the tail loose first, when he finds the key, he won't have to do any of those key lock chests. So, goes to Mirage next as his next big dungeon, then you're going to see the two of them neck and neck. If he goes anywhere else, he will be behind. Significantly behind. So, a lot dependent on routing here.
And the TNT turns into the Opal Cheerio. Not a required item, but with this mage heavy party, I suppose 50-50 split between mages and non-mages, the Opal Cheerio does offer a good absorb.
The Opal bracelet will offer, I think, 32 absorb, the same as the no, I'm sorry, 34, the same as the fire armor, flame armor.
We've got Darkmoon picking up his ruby. I'm curious, both runners stepped back onto our trap tile in Waterfall and did not immediately warp out. Maybe looking for a little bit more experience. Looks like Darkmoon just wanted to see out of bounds bat.
Yep. Darkmoon's got to be feeling pretty good now. He's flying. He's class changed. He's got 2 orbs lit. So taking a moment to meme for us. Cinema Bee choosing to go to Earth before Mirage and before class changing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would have expected a class change, I think. We do have Darkmoon headed down to Lefane. We know at this point, this is going to be our bottle, I believe, and the bottle will turn into Oxyel. Talk about vanilla.
I believe so. Thing that's left.
We know that, but Darkmoon does not.
Yeah, neither runner, because of their different routing. Neither runner knows everything, but it's find all three of the incentivized items that are not required. All three of the equipment items in the power bonk, the Thor hammer, and the opal bracelet. You know that every other incentive check is required, and that so are both loose items. So I'm sorry, I should include the tail in that list of non-essential checks, and theoretically the floater, though it's so often required because it gates so much.
So we've got Darkmoon and Gaia here turning in the bottle. Gonna move some equipment around. Remembered that he had the dragon armor. Wanted to make sure his knight was wearing that dragon armor.
Gonna be choosing not to use the warp spell to gain some of these steps back. Just a minor, like a minor adaptation that you can make, and taking the lower route to these other chests.
And that's one
But
thing
still,
from
he's just got this.
Yep, and that's one thing from an execution standpoint that if Cinema B comes back and watches this, I would really hope that he looks at the opportunities to use warp to get out of some of these situations a little bit faster. There was the walking out of he walked out of Sarda's cave and kind of didn't use warp here in this instance after checking those places. Warp is a really great tool, especially when you get it early and especially when you have many charges of it. You can really increase your speed by warping out of your current location to kind of reset.
Absolutely. Question in chat is Cinema doing 3-man? Both players are doing 3-man strats, although both of the thieves have had a fair amount of XP sort of funneled into them, wasted on them, or as Will Bloodworth will say, invested in their future potentially. I think
on one side with Darkmoon,
11.
I think his thief ended up at level 14 or so. And we've got a level 11 thief on Cinema B's side.
Gonna be respecting Lich in 2020.
We've got Darkmoon taking an eye fight, racing through Sky. We're about to hit our favorite Bridge of Destiny, so get your bless RNGs in chat if you want to see our robot friend.
The robot is patrolling, and Darkmoon does see the robot just north. He could take that fight if he chose. Just take an extra Warmac fight, but he may avoid it. Another minor adaptation is that use of Cure 4 instead of using heal potions. When you use heal potions, not only are you healing 30 at a time, but you also have to repurchase them before Topher, so it can be a useful adaptation to just use a Cure 4 charge if you're not worried about running out of magic.
We did get Cinema B lighting the Earth Orb, so now we've got our runners tied at 2 orbs apiece, but I don't expect that to last long with Darkmoon approaching Tiamat.
Yeah. The route diversions have actually sort of favored Cinema B, but Darkmoon just executing really well, showing his experience. But as a newer runner, I'm hoping Cinema B will be encouraged by this, because one of the harder things is to learn how to route well. And one of the easier things is to execute, because execution is just practice.
So on Darkmoon's side, we are fighting Tiamat now. Looks like we've got Brack strats incoming. We did get a fast charge off on our fighter, and that fighter's hitting hard. So first hit for 242, second hit for over 500 there, about 700 HP. Ooh, and this third strike for over 800 knocks Tiamat down.
And Tiamat was unsure which was going to kill her first, the fighter or the Brack casts, and it turned out to be the fighter. Cinema be making use of an interesting flag that was added, which is Lefanish hospitality, because our towns are often shuffled. It's that bottle. Oh, he never translated the slab. Oh, that's a drag. Cinema be getting those lupas. But yeah, you don't need to speak the language to purchase a night at the inn. So, because towns are often shuffled, a clinic and an inn were added to Lefane, just in case you're, that's the only town that's available to you for a bit. So that's preserving Melbourne status as the worst town.
We do have Darkmoon running into some ghosts. Not a very friendly encounter in Water Temple here. Thankfully, he did get turn order on that. Got the first move nuke off and wipe the table there.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood. The exclamation point means that it's been turned in. Oh, okay. Burt Reynolds, our tracker, keeping everything on the ball there, but Elastoid, our idiot commentator, not knowing the tracker well enough to see what was going on. Cinemabe did not get looped and collected the bottle, and
we do have Cinemabe checking these chests.
To find this key, and again, the routing isn't going to be a problem. He's not going to be full clearing. He's not going to be full clearing the sky or either sky or sea. He knows that he's going to be in go mode now.
So we do have Cinemabe picking up that key. Cinemabe is in go mode now. Hopefully we'll now be able to just skip through, really turn on the afterburners here. Did not save though.
It's often a thing that we see among ducklings is a willingness to take risks that you've lost fewer races to stupidity when you're new, right? And the things that are 80% safe feel pretty safe when you're new. And it takes a while before you lose a run in Bridge of Destiny and realize that you haven't even saved that key that you picked up or anything like that. That you say, you know what, I'm going to start just warping out and using that house.
And we've got full Brack strats going on against Kraken 1 over here. We've got the Red Mage. Oh, and Brack takes out Kraken. We did get the Brack kill.
And the fiends in this particular run, in this particular seed, probably going to complain to us that they never had a chance, because both runners grind in a great number of levels, and Cinema B proving me wrong. He's still gonna clear these chests in Sky despite being in go mode. He's got some equipment that he wants to find.
Did Cinema B end up picking up that ribbon that Darkmoon did?
Yeah, that ribbon was key locked, so Cinema B still without a ribbon, potentially looking for that. He will find one, I believe, on the next, like the floor after the spider floor. What is that? Sky 3?
Yep.
It's pointed out that losing the key would be no big deal, but if you lose the key on late on in the Sky Palace, there's always a chance that you forget to go back for it.
And at 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 40 seconds, we have Darkmoon Firelight entering Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Cinema Beast staying neck and neck with Darkmoon for a good long time. always executing slower, but just having a better route. And they were tied for a good long while, but ultimately once the map was understood and Darkmoon knew where to go, he was going a lot faster.
Also interesting, we haven't seen Cinema be hit up the Cardia Isles or the Ale tournament yet.
Now that we got now that we got everything noted and we're 90 minutes into the seed, would it be a good time for a recap? What do you think?
I'm game.
So it looks like all of our magic was available early. I don't think we even saw anything in levels 6, 7, or 8. Right, so it was a very fast magic seed. The slab and the chime were available early, as well as the herb, which wound up leading to just the Thor hammer. So there was a lot of early equipment, but really everything was gated around the key item in Earth Cave was the canoe, and that canoe could lead you to the floater, which wound up in Ordeals. Ordeals also had the tail loose.
Real quick, we've got Darkmoon facing Lich 2. This is the first of our second round of Fiends, and Lich kicks it off with damage poison. That's not what you want to see immediately off the bat. We have got a nuke from the Black Mage. We've got some massa swings from the Knight, and down goes Lich 1.
Lich going
Lich
down.
2.
Yeah, Lich 2. Lich 2 has not a very impressive fight card in these flags. Lich will occasionally kill a party member, but will very rarely kill a party. So Kraken and Tiamat have, my understanding, been more of the gatekeepers in these flags. There have been some really nasty Krakens in these flags.
And Darkmoon's healing himself up real quick before he hits up Carry 2. And so now we've got Carry 2. We're going to fight with the Knight. We're going to cast Fast from the Red Mage. And we're going to go with Lock 2 from the... Ooh, the Red Mage takes a fist to the face, immediately down. That's a big loss, losing that Red Mage this early. That's the only source, I believe, of life spells. I don't think he picked up those spells on the Knight.
Yeah, that is correct. Life 2 was at level 4, so it was not Knight learnable.
Knight swings again and takes out Carry 2, though, so the journey continues.
Yeah, so just the safety net is gone, and they're basically all Topher wipes begin with the death of your life caster. Right, so Darkmoon not going to be happy to see the life caster go down, and
we've got a nasty water encounter. I don't know. We didn't see that at all in the sea shrine. That was waters with Zap and Thunder that ambushed him.
Zap not killing anybody because I believe, ironically, the time magic resistance from the Black Mage from the Black Shirt actually came into play. But yeah, Darkmoon resetting out. He hadn't taken up in vanilla. But yeah, possibly the Phantom. But yeah, Darkmoon had not taken the fight with the Kraken or Tiamat or Chaos, and you're not gonna try and take all three of that gauntlet out with just the fighter. It's possible, but it's not a good risk, especially when the fighter didn't have Cure 4 charges. So he's just going to go in again and hope that Carry gets a little bit less lucky sniping down that Red Mage.
So we do have I believe it's 1, maybe 2 Cure 4 charges on our Knight now. That is a little bit of a safety net there, but no life mat.
And not being able to cure 4 himself is important. He's got 1 charge of it. Alright, so he's ideally going to be able to save that for the Chaos fight, just in case. Whereas Cinema Bee is on the Bridge
And
of
the Whiz
Destiny.
Vamps
Taking those
also have
Black Iron
thunder.
G's out for an unnecessary War Mech. Cyranus, our restreamer, confirming for us it is Phantom that has the Zap spell. Thank you.
Cinema Bee running into some fighters on the Bridge of Destiny. Not usually a common encounter, but they must have shuffled a little bit lower on the encounter table.
And Metal Slimes, which are just gonna slow Cinema Bee down a little bit. Darkmoon just running right through this, running away from the Soria fight that is usually just free XP, running away from the Gurmedusa fight. I very rarely see people pass that one up.
Ooh, that Black Mage took a pounding down to 6 HP. Is he gonna escape? Nope, not this time around.
It doesn't really matter if the Black Mage dies because you've got a Red Mage with yeah, the Red Mage is gonna get the nuke off. He's gonna win this, and he's got life 2.
He's got tanky rock goals, is what he's got.
Oh wow, he might actually be in trouble this fight.
Oh, escapes with a 17 HP.
The Red Mage escaping with 17 HP. Is
interestingly does not bring the Black Mage back up.
Alive.
Leaves the Black Mage down.
Yeah, Darkmoon just not taking that fight seriously because who would? But really unlucky, unable to run, and taking just a little bit too much damage from those rock galls that are hitting pretty hard.
This time around, Knight hits Lich 553 down immediately.
Yeah, and that's Lich, less effective at killing party members than the random rock gall Mudgall fight. So.
Oh no, we see on Cinema Bee's side we do have Tiamat with Stone Touch, stoning her fighter. And the Red Mage, takes a wipe. Now that save that he didn't take at the beginning there is really gonna hurt him.
Yes, and he's gonna go back. Like it's hard to know what to do in that. Like when you wipe after a long dungeon clear, it will just take the wind out of you. You know, it feels like a gut punch, and it's very, very difficult to like collect yourself right there.
This time around, Darkmoon skips past carry unscathed. We're gonna have to see when Cinema Bee opens his items next time if he has the
on the revival casting. Is Duck the one that's wearing the ribbon? Is the question, because if he isn't, then that was a mistake by Darkmoon. And that was just really bad luck.
We'll have to take a look the next time Cinema Bee opens his inventory. I don't know that he saved after getting that key. He might not have the key in his inventory.
Yeah, we discussed that he didn't, so he may or may not remember to get it at the end, but that's the kind of thing where, you know, it's good to remember. And just these waters again.
More waters.
With the thunder. Yeah, because revival is not available, and Darkmoon choosing not to heal afterwards and may regret it, but does not. Whew. Darkmoon. Oh, wow, and the nuke does make him regret it. Darkmoon has to be frustrated running through into all that. Ran into those 6 waters, then the Nagas with the 6 waters, and then the Nagas with the 6 waters. Gets through all of that, and then runs into a Gershark with nuke. Water floor is not particularly kind to runners.
All right, he's gonna try to have his Knight here man mode it through the rest of the dungeon.
he's got a gauntlet of 3 fiends, and he's at least gonna try and get some information here.
Oh, he got the first turn ink. That's good. Oh, second turn, 7 hits,
Oh
411
wow!
damage. A
With
second
one
defense charge comes out. A third defense charge comes out. Kraken hits again, misses this time. Kraken hits again, misses again. Swing in the massa, 131 damage, 1 hit. 3 hits, 186 damage. Kraken swings again, misses. Got enough defensive charges there. 3 hits, 355. Ooh, and an Inferno comes out, followed by a Thunder. This Kraken's got some skills. Oh, 4 hits, 168. Escapes the Kraken fight.
Wow, just clenches it out. That Kraken potentially can be a gatekeeper because he got one defense charge off and is wearing the dragon armor on that night and still got a swing for 411 damage. Right, so that Kraken is going to reach out and touch your mages, and
Ooh, lucky to
they'll be
escape those 4 worms. We have Cinema Bee checking the computer rooms in Sky 3.
Again, we're talking about the execution thing. Cinema Bee just needed to learn a little bit more about the dungeon layouts, right? So, not a favorite to win this race, though. You know, if chaos is tough, then you know a few more wipes and he's right back in. But either way, no matter how this race goes,
Ooh, Tia 2 busting out the nuclear. Interestingly, we did have the defense sword charges on Darkmoon's side, but he has not used the power bonk at all. And with the Massa hitting for so little, that was 5 hits for 114. We've got 4 hits for 101. 5 hits for 13 damage. I would expect a few power bonks to come out. Ooh, and a nuclear clears the fighter. That was a nuclear for 302. That was a big shot there.
both runners probably feeling somewhat behind. Wiping in Temple of Fiends feels real rough, and Darkmoon's going to take that R Hydra fight and see if he can get some more XP that way. So if you're deciding to grind, what do you think, Web? Do you go with the red R Hydras, or do you go into the Gurgu and grab those four worms that you knew were there?
I think with the levels and the spells and the armor that we have available here, I guess I would head back to the volcano and hit up those 4 worms. The only thing that I can say is I think it's just a slightly shorter walk to get to these chests here. So if he was worried at all about kind of the route that he would take, that would be the saving grace here on these R Hydras. But I think that worm fight is definitely the bigger XP boon if you're looking to get these levels quickly.
So, question in chat, what does the defense sword do? The defense sword will cast the ruse spell. You can use the ruse spell several times and stack your evade. When your evade is at maximum, it is impossible to hit you without max roll attack and getting the critical hit. So that's usually a strategy employed, especially when you're down to one character. So, yeah, Darkmoon just forgetting a little bit of the equipment that he had. He forgot that he had a power bonk available, or chose not to use it. I'd be interested to see whether the black shirt would do a lot of damage to these Hydras. Because if you could get them down with one black shirt, then you wouldn't like he looks like he's clearly trying to kill off his mages and just solo grind the fighter. It's going to be a lot faster if the black shirt can kill them in 1 or 2 rounds.
And DMD in chat, yes. Invis 2, the spell, and white shirt, the white shirt item. The white shirt does cast Invis 2, and so those both also raise evasion. The ruse spell or the defense sword is twice as effective as a single cast of the white shirt or Invis 2. But as Dengwu says in chat, the white shirt and Invis 2 do impact your whole party.
So Darkmoon down to just the solo knight, gonna grind some levels on this. allowing Cinema Bee to get further into the seed, you know, so you're still 2 orbs behind, you know, it's unlikely that you're stun locked. It's unlikely that you're gonna make a comeback, but it's always possible. And this is the first step. Unrunnable stun touch man cats looking to just slowly grind you down.
Yeah, I don't think Darkmoon saw the man cat encounter when he ran through.
It's possible he did, but he used a nuke charge, because if you're just trying to attack them down, it's going to take a lot longer.
So now we have Darkmoon ducking back and forth. The other tile is a Frosty tile, so he's moving back and forth between the Frosties and the Arhydra.
So, Dangwu, the key was actually in Mirage, which Darkmoon checked very early, possibly because of the way his last race went. There was nothing important key locked except for a ribbon. Excalibur, but you know, with Mass Mune and Sun Sword available, it's not really a thing. Cinnamon found it, and unfortunately wiped to Tiamat and did not save with the key. So we're gonna see whether Cinnamon remembers that he's missing the key. It's possible that we're gonna get a this door is locked by the Mystic Key Topher check.
And we can confirm now, seeing Cinema Bee's inventory, that there is no key there. So there was not a save. So what happened was Cinema Bee grabbed the key, warped out of Mirage, and did not use a save item. So how high, Elastoid, how high do you think Darkmoon's going to take this fighter grind? We just hit level 30.
If I were a gambling man, and I usually am, I would say 35 is going to be Darkmoon's level. 35, it gets you another attack with the Massive Mune, and that's going to be useful because he was having difficulty getting through Tiamat's Absorb. And also 35, you have a lot of HP on your fighter, so you can live through a lot. That said, I don't know that I would consider this grind necessary. Yeah, Topher has been a little bit difficult, but when he hasn't got all three party members all the way to Kraken, and if he can get through Water Floor, maybe heal up a little bit more between fights, you know, then and get like a living red mage all the way over there, then he's gonna have enough party members to get through there, and with the buffing spells, these fiends will go down a little bit easier. So
we've got Cinema Bee taking round 2 at Tia 1. Ooh, unfortunately, it looks like he's got his defense sword on that knight that he rezzed for this fight. We got 401 damage off of 4 hits from the Mass Immune off the fighter there. Tiamat stones the thief. Temper Cast goes down on the fighter. We're going to have a nuke and another swing from the knight. A nuke goes out, 378 damage. Great roll there. 10 hits, 688 from the knight with the Mass Immune. Takes out Tiamat 1. So that's going to be a third orb lit for Cinema Bee.
Excellent job by Cinema Bee. Unfortunately, not saving having completed that dungeon, and not saving or going back for that key.
No. We are going to see the class change here, looks like.
Unfortunately, that airship is not an airboat.
Darkmoon's going to turn in the Ruby now.
Turn in the Ruby, get the TNT, turn in the TNT and get that opal bracelet. This seems like a superfluous play, but it's actually not that bad, because getting that extra absorb for your mages potentially can be very valuable. Burt Reynolds pointed out that the thief being turned to stone could be potentially useful, because if you were to lose your red mage, you would not be able to revive the thief with a Life 2 spell, but you could revive him with the soft. If he's turned to stone, so that can help Cinema Bee later.
Cinema Bee entering the Sea Shrine, headed directly to the left, going to take out Kraken.
We'll be running into the Gersharks with Nuke. Oh.
Oh no.
I could have immediately reset out. And I am so glad to see that he saved before he went into on-rack, because for a second I thought he was going to reset and find himself outside of Mirage.
And that would have been devastating. I think that would have broke me, I think.
Speaking personally, that would have been an immediate forfeit for me. Had already forfeited, I still might forfeit. Yeah, Darkmoon was lucky not to encounter those Gersharks in his way through Sea Shrine, but he may once again lose something to those Gersharks in Waterfloor. So he's got his level 16 ninja up. That ninja is gonna hopefully be able to help him run away from things.
We got Cinema Bee running away from the Gersharks now.
If the Light Warriors were a mystery solving team, then the thief would be Scrappy Doo, or Shaggy rather. Maybe Scrappy Doo. Either way, he'd be good at running away and not much else.
All right. Ooh, we definitely need these heals right now on Cinema Bee's side. Everybody was less than 50% HP.
And again, a minor optimization. You know, this is a short dungeon when you're go moding it. You can use your Cure 4 charges and save your heal pots, because then you don't have to rebuy them and you don't have to menu all the way to heal yourself up.
Very true.
Not
All
an
right, we've got
optimization I like seeing in Topher, but
we've got Darkmoon taking on Lich 2 again. We've got poison damage coming out from Lich, dealing that damage that he was not looking to take. We've got attack, wait going on his party there. 5 hits, 382, takes care of Lich number 2. Moving right along the carry.
Combining for 9 damage. You know, people like to laud the power of the thief. People like to laud the power of the Vorpal, and when they combine, you get almost 10 damage to the weakest of the 4 fiends. So definitely put their powers on display.
I think one thing, speaking of swords, we have not seen a katana yet. And I think that's interesting because we have so often, I feel, seen katanas. There being 2 out there in the world. And there have been a lot of people using ninjas. So we've seen a lot of katana use, but I don't think we've seen a katana at all. And Ragnarok in chat, yes. Cinema Bee did forget to grab the key from the first floor of Mirage.
You've got 18 houses. Don't be stingy with your save items, right? When you get it, save it.
Wow, Carrie also has Swirl and Crack.
Which, you know, means Carrie, like when Carrie's using Swirl and Crack, Carrie's not punching your red mage down. So as annoying as that is.
And here we have the infamous water floor. We're gonna see if Darkmoon can avoid this exact encounter.
Darkmoon choosing not to revive the ninja and getting ambushed by the waters. Just nothing going right for him.
So we'll see. Last time he ran into, was it 3 or was it 4 consecutive water encounters?
He successfully runs away from the 2 Gersharks and runs into waters now.
Oh, here's the waters with Zap
It's
and
not a kind
Thunder.
Feels the thunder.
On Cinema B side, we're taking on Kraken 1.
And
We
taking
might we
another
might get the
step.
Kraken handshake here. 2 hits, 171 from the Massmune. We've got a fast cast from the Black Mage on the Knight. We've got a temper charge on the Knight. We've got the ninja punching. Looks like we got a defense sword usage, more temper, and a nuke cast. So more temper on the Knight. We've got the defense sword on the ninja. 5 hits, 717 damage, takes down Kraken 1.
And Cinema B will light his fourth orb. Darkmoon's stream is acting up. Darkmoon, I think he's trying to go fast through Temple of Fiends, and that makes sense. But I mean, you know that floor is such a dangerous slog. You got to be healing in between fights in water floor.
So we do have 4 orbs on Cinema B's side, but unfortunately, Cinema B is not quite in go mode yet. The missing
Guessing
key.
that like Cinnamon B is in no mode at the very least. He knows where the key is. So worst case scenario for Cinnamon B, he's gonna enter Topher, get blocked by the key, and have to go back. But he knows exactly where it is. Points out this may now be a race, although we've lost Darkmoon's feed, so it could be that Darkmoon's already past Tiamat and is engaging chaos right now.
So we were able to see before his stream fell out that he did lose the Black Mage, it looked like, in his fight against uh, the water floor.
Yeah, but the Black Mage, of course, being capable of revival or being revived by the Red Mage, so he's still all right as long as he keeps that Red Mage alive. Okay, Cinema B completely forgetting about that key. He's gonna grab some magic potentially for his ninja and his fighter. He's gonna uh, prepare for that Topher attack, and is it on our side that like do we had does
It
Darkmoon
looks like
stream?
Darkmoon's stream is still up. He just
Okay,
passed he just took out Tia 2. He is on
we
his way
lost
to
it
chaos.
on our restreaming side, but Darkmoon is still fine. So yeah, yeah, as you said, he just passed Tia 2.
He is down to his solo fighter though, so this is going to be a solo fighter versus chaos sort of moment.
In the long way around. And yeah, he's got a level 32 fighter. Wish him the best of luck. And it looks like we've got him back on the stream. So you can see he moves his fighter to the third slot. That seems useless when you only have the one enemy, but it or one party member, but it does
We got a defense
make it
charge.
more
Chaos
likely.
misses. Chaos misses. We got power bonk charges now. Excellent. Power bonk. Power bonk again. We've got chaos missing. We've got a nuke. A nuke comes out from chaos. Vorpal sword. 5 hits. 445. Cure 4 coming out. More fight. More swings from the Vorpal. 5 hits. 676 damage. 1 hit from chaos. 33 damage. Another hit from the Vorpal sword. 4 hits for 375. And
And
was
Bane.
that death touch or?
No, that was a Bane cast. Um, Potentially not wearing the ribbon. So Darkmoon is starting again, and we have ourselves a race, everybody. Um, yeah, Cinema B does not have a ribbon in his inventory. Darkmoon has one. So as far as I understand, does not have the Mystic Key in his inventory. So we'll see how that goes. Only when you move your when you only have one party member, if that party member is in the third or fourth slot, it makes it more likely for there to be an RNG loop. So you can occasionally find one of those crit loops that you see where the RNG repeats, and you keep attacking for the same amount, and chaos keeps missing or hitting you for low HP. That's more likely to happen when you're in a later slot because you use more RNG numbers every turn. So it may seem like it's a pointless optimization, but it actually is potentially a game changing optimization.
And my understanding of that kind of ability to trigger a loop is that even though the third and the fourth slot you can both in both slots you can make it happen. I believe it's slightly more likely in the third slot than the fourth slot, but I guess I would need somebody to confirm that who knows the numbers. And
It's
here we
actually
have the door, Cinema B locked out by the Mystic Key.
and Cinema be choosing not to reset out, but to warp out. If you got any XP here, that makes sense. And also, if he forgot to save anything, because it said he did. So a rare. This door is locked by the Mystic Key check in Topher. Cinema be unlikely at this point to go check key lock dwarves. Also, I don't know if we ever even saw like cardia item checks out of cinema. So yeah, we have no ribbon yet, but at this point, I would expect that he's going to go slog through without it.
So we will have the white shirt pickup here. I think that it may be one advantage. Darkmoon does not have the white shirt. He did not go back in and pick up the white shirt, so those Invis 2 casts might be missed here. Darkmoon is taking on Lich 2 again here. We've got 4 hits for 293 from the Masmune. We've got a nuke coming out from Lich. Turns out Nuke has Lich. Takes down the Thief and the Black Mage, but the Red Mage stays standing. So, or excuse me, the Red Wizard stays standing. So we do have life 2 cast. And he's going to
We'd
bring
expect,
up both the Ninja and the Black Mage this time. I think he just brought up the Ninja the one time and then let the Ninja stay dead for the remainder of his last run.
yeah. So we're gonna see if he gives Water Floor a little bit more respect after having his ass handed to him by those waters a few times.
All right, Cinema Bee back in the Temple of Fiends Revisited has a key in the inventory this time. We've got a race on our hands.
Yeah, Dark Moon is like Cinema's gonna need another wipe from Dark Moon in order to win, and then he's gonna have to clutch out a lot of the things that Cinema didn't. Or
Here
I'm
we have
sorry,
Carry 2. We've got 5 hits for 367. A fast cast goes off from the Red Wizard. Ooh, the Ninja takes a punch to the face but survives with 1 HP. More temper or a temper cast from the Black Mage. Here we have the Mass Immune swings, 10 hits, 716 damage, takes care of Carry 2, no problem. Oh, but he did not heal before he ran into the water floor here, and we've got a seafood party pack waiting for him.
again, his attempt to save time with the refusal to heal is potentially going to lose him time in the long run because this floor is about as bad as you've seen seafloor. And it would have been nice to have that ninja able to run for him.
And this water floor is just cruel. Dengmu in chat asked no life at all in this seed. We did see life 2 at level 4. And I
The red
believe life
the
was
red
at
wizard
level
has
5.
yeah, the red wizard has the life 2 charges on both sides. So it is possible to revive, but only if that red wizard survives. So
We've run
ribbon
from one
management.
water encounter.
One more ambush. Yeah, this is just not a kind floor. and we're gonna see if there should be another encounter a few steps later after this encounter, and we're gonna see if Darkmoon heals. He does not, and you can see these waters. You know, at this point, I've learned the encounter table well enough to know that encounter was coming. I'd be
Oof.
healing.
3 failed runs there. None of his characters managed to run. We've got
The
Cinema B on
water
the
is
Earth floor
gonna
now.
zap instead of using thunder, and yeah, these waters actually being fairly kind because that encounter could easily have led that red mage sitting at 100 HP. If that red mage is down, then you're once again struggling with this gauntlet of the three big fiends.
Healing up the Black Mage, looks like. Reviving the Ninja. Does not heal the Black Mage, though. Black Wizard sitting at 109 HP.
Yeah,
Gets a
he's
temper cast off. Temper, Knight
going
hits, 2 hits,
offense.
147. Oh, Ninja gets smacked. No chance of survival there.
The water's not unrunnable, but they are difficult to run from. And
Ooh, Kraken hits the Knight for 564 damage, but the Knight swings back. Massamune takes care of Kraken 2. Big damage
hey,
there.
so this is the first time, at least, that we've been able to see that Darkmoon has gotten past Kraken 2 with his red mage still alive. So that red mage is capable of reviving anybody. And
Cinema B taking on Lich 2 here. We got a Harm 3, a Fire 3 for 104 damage, and Lich 2 goes down. Just a speed bump here. Did not see that nuke come out. Here we've got Tia 2 on Darkmoon side. We've got the Ninja. All 4 characters are up this time. We've got a fast cast looking from the Black Wizard onto the Knight. And Lock 2, we're going full offense. Speed and power. Oh no. Oh, Lock 2 comes out. Defense sword on the Knight.
why can't we have nice
Ooh.
things?
Looks like the Black Mage took a hit. Our Black Wizard survives with 7 HP. Another hit. 3 hits, 95 damage. And Viz 2 comes out. Here we go. This is some of that defensive magic that could save his party from these big Tiamat swings. We've got a wait on the side of the Red Mage. Bane comes out from Tiamat. Oh, takes
Oh,
down
that
everyone except for the Red Wizard.
he needs these nukes to work. If these nukes, oh wow,
Nuke for 173.
in order.
Another nuke comes out. 138. Tiamat casts Lit 2. Red Wizard lives with 14 health. Lit 2 comes out again for 22 damage.
Oh,
Darkmoon goes down again.
Darkmoon, for the first time in a long time is behind. Uh,
Carry 2 on
it's
Cinema B's side. Cast Crack takes out the Black Wizard. We've got a nuke coming in from the Red Wizard. 169 damage. Takes down Carry 2.
that was huge. Cinema B does not have a ribbon, I believe, right? Which means the Red Wizard surviving that crack cast is a big deal. But B is now going to go onto the water floor, and we'll see how he handles this because
Goes onto the water floor and does not heal his Knight.
we don't believe in taking precautions. We don't understand how bad this floor is.
Well, Cinema B hasn't seen it yet. Cinema B doesn't know what the waters do.
Cinema B's encounter table is on a different spot, so he's getting a lot fewer encounters going through this as well.
Yeah, this is only the second or third encounter on this floor, and he's about to hit Kraken. We're bringing the Ninja back up. Oh, please heal your Knight. Please heal your Knight. Oh.
And then it's 361, my bad. Yeah, 361 seems perfectly fine.
The defense sword's still on the Ninja here. We have a power bonk coming in on the Knight. I would really love to see that defense sword on the defense sword doesn't matter. Smacks the ninja for 582 damage. Kraken 2
Okay.
not taking any prisoners.
We know that Kraken 2 actually doesn't have a whole lot of HP, so he
We've got
could
one nuke coming out for
die.
177, another nuke coming out for 157, and 8 hits for 1318 damage there. Wow, that was a big hit. Knight takes out Kraken 2 though. Oh, and we have our Gershark friends with nuke.
Nuke.
Oh, Gershark attacks, does not use that nuke.
Shark
Gets
attack.
away from the encounter.
Succeeds in running. Oh my god! This is a barn burner.
Heal your knight. No, here are the waters. Gets away again. Escapes the waters. We've got Darkmoon taking out Lich 2 again.
Vampires which have fire too.
And Thunder.
His vampires thunder.
Oh, and the red mage goes down.
No, the mage goes down. The fighter goes down. That is the run. He is not
That's
going
yep.
to get.
Yeah, without the fighter,
Oh,
you gotta reset.
Name of this Topher is Hubris. Alright, like all of these encounters, if you enter it in full HP, you have a very good chance of getting through here, and just both of our runners refusing to do so. Right? You're trying to save 30 seconds, 40 seconds of healing, and you wind up losing several minutes to an unnecessary wipe.
All right, we've got Darkmoon taking on Carry 2 again here. Getting pretty practiced at this, I think. 10 hits, 616 damage from the Knight. Does not take her down. Little extra damage needed there. Carry hits 5 hits, 198. 10 hits, 961 takes down Carry. Carry 2 is down again here for Darkmoon.
And I'm gonna lose my window. Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right, we've got Cinema Bee healing up. Darkmoon heals up as well, walking on the water floor. Maybe on a slightly different encounter table here. He's not getting the same encounters that he has in the past.
No, he is. He's gonna take a couple steps, like maybe 3 steps, get into another encounter, and then he's gonna take 2 steps and see another one. Maybe not. I stand corrected.
All right.
That stretch that
We're
we
about to
usually
face-
saw, but yeah,
about
he's
to face
finally
Kraken
got
2 again. We get the fast cast out.
To answer Grandylicious, this is more than the 5th dive.
Ooh, we
has
go for
lost a dive.
Braxtract.
He has lost a dive
4 hits,
to,
348. Fast goes out in the Knight. The ninja hits 2 damage, takes 11 hits for 954 damage in return though, and is now taking a nap. 4 hits, 303 damage comes out from the Knight, not quite enough to take this Kraken down. We've got another temper coming out from the Black Wizard. We're gonna wait on the Black Wizard, hit with the Knight. Oh, and Kraken takes down the Red Wizard again. 8 hits, 701 takes down Kraken 2, but it comes at the cost of the Red Wizard's life.
That has been the key for this seed, for this Topher.
He's moving the
we can
ribbon
see
off
that
onto the Knight this time though.
That is an optimization that's very important. If that optimization had been made for Chaos, then Bane would not have killed him.
All right, and here we have the Vorpal sword now on the Knight. So we're going into Tia 2 with the Vorpal. Now there's a ribbon on the Knight. Just a Knight and a Black Mage. A Knight and a Black Wizard against the world, or Tia 2 in this case. Fast cast comes out on Knight. Nuclear comes out immediately from Tia 2. Defense sword used on the Knight's front. We're gonna get a temper charge out. Another defense cast on the Knight. Temper charge hits. Tiamat Fire 2 takes out the Black Wizard. Bane comes out. Not gonna do any good with that ribbon now. 10 hits, 201 damage. 9 hits, 96 damage. We are seeing the power of the Vorpal here. 10 hits, 10 damage. Stun comes out from Tia. 10 hits, 335 damage. That time we got a few crits in there. 10 hits, 318 damage, and Tia 2 goes down. Now we have a man-moding knight here to take on Chaos. One mano-y-mano once more. We get over to the Chaos room. No encounters hit. We've got Darkmoon facing off against Chaos one more time. We're going to move the knight down into the third slot. We're going to double check he's at full health. And here we go. Kicks it off. Defense. Chaos cast stop right off the bat. Defense cast. Defense cast. Chaos hits with nuke. Takes him down to 403. A Bane cast comes out. That's what ended him last time. Not so good this time. Another defense comes out. Now we've got the Power Gauntlet. Miss. Power Gauntlet comes out. Chaos hits again. Miss. More Power Gauntlet. We're going to have to take this pretty high. Lit 2 comes out. Power Gauntlet again. We're going to cast Cure 4 here. Scared about the nuke rolls. Cure 4 hits. Back up to 685. Another Lit 2 comes out. Vorpal. 3 hits for 284 damage-ish. Got another Power Bonk. We're going to fight again. Chaos misses. Vorpal Sword. 3 hits. 379 damage. 5 hits. 854 damage. Here we go. 5 hits. 72 damage. Thanks, Vorpal. 5 hits, 1,014 damage. We've got a tanky Chaos. We're over 2,000 now. 4 hits, 648 damage. We're up to 2,600 damage. Chaos. 3 hits, 777 damage. Chaos goes down.
And with the official SRL time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 7 seconds, Darkmoon is going to finish first. That was a little over 50 minutes spent in Temple of Fiends.
Oh my.
And here we're joined by Darkmoon.
Oh. Right.
GG, Darkmoon. Get those GGs out.
GG's, man.
What was that?
In
like,
Temple
oh
of
my.
Fiends.
Oh my. Ugh.
And
So,
here we're
that
joined
was,
by Darkmoon.
That was fun.
GG,
Wow.
Darkmoon. Get those GGs
Tell us a
out.
little
GG's,
bit
man.
about how you felt. about
What
Temple of
was
Fiends.
that? Like, oh my. Hellish. Okay, so I did a practice a couple of days ago with Ragnarok. Ugh. And the
So,
that was super
fun.
Punch happy, had a lot of absorb, a lot of evade.
Tell us a little bit
couldn't get a
about
break
how
in,
you
and
felt about
I
that
think,
Temple of Fiends.
I had worked on
That
my
was
fighter and he
hellish. Okay, so I did a practice a couple of days ago with Ragnarok.
Gonna get.
And
that was
the
a bad,
chaos
bad
there
Topher.
was super punch
This
happy,
was
had a lot of absorb, a lot of
much
evade,
That
couldn't get a
Tiamat
break
was
in,
basically a
and
gatekeeper
I
followed
think
up by a
I
Chaos
had worked
who,
on my
if
fighter,
you-
and he'd worked on
like,
his
I only
black
had
belt
one
with me,
ribbon,
like
so
with
if I
the
didn't have the
seed
ribbon
determine
on the
what we were
fighter,
going to
he was
get.
gonna get wiped out.
And that was
pretty
a
much within the
bad,
first couple
bad
spells.
Topher.
Like,
This
that
was
was a 1-2 punch
so
right there that I
much
just had to
worse.
recalibrate
That
on.
Tiamat, who is basically a gatekeeper, followed up by a chaos.
So I'm going to
who,
jump in here
if
real
you-
quick. We do have
like,
Cinema
I
B.
only have
Cinema
one
B
ribbon,
has
so
made
if
it
I didn't have
past
the ribbon
Tia
on the
2,
fighter, he was going to
and
get wiped
is
out
approaching Chaos
pretty
here.
much within the first couple
Cinema
spells.
B
Like,
does still have
that was
the
a
Black
1-2
Wizard,
punch
the
right
Red
there that I
Wizard,
just had
and
to
the Knight all
recalibrate
up
on.
here. So it's going to be the three-man face off against Chaos. So I'm going to jump in here real quick. We do
How
have
many
Cinema B.
ribbons?
Cinema B has made it past 0 Tia 2.
So
and
interestingly enough, yeah, you're potentially because of what happened with the Gregley Puff race, you'd made that early Mirage dive and found that key. That key turned out to be like it had a ribbon behind it and not much else. So
Yeah.
incidentally, it wound up costing you time because
It
while
did.
you were sailing around and checking key locked things, when Cinema Bee found that key was go mode and wound up not costing him time at all. So
Yeah, I
Cinemabee's
felt
on-
like it. Oh, okay, yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt. He's on Chaos right now. He's fastening up the red. Oh, it looks like we've lost view of it. But yeah, he's currently made the Chaos poll, so you can answer the question and just let me know if we get our vision again.
Yeah, you're cool. No, yeah, when I did that dive, I was like, oh man, nothing came from these key locks. I swear I lost time on that because I had the same vibe that once you got key, you were go mode and you were just going to be done with it. And if I'd known that, that Mirage play would have been completely different. But at the same time, I kind of glad I had it now because I had the one ribbon that was going to save my fight.
Yeah, that well, that ribbon, incidentally, has not been much of a factor. You were in the Temple of Fiends about 30 minutes before
Mm-hmm.
Cinema V was.
Sorry,
That
gonna
was
jump
such
in
an
here for
ugly.
the Cinema B Chaos fight. We've got the ninja with the white shirt cast. Looks like we're gonna have an Invis 2 coming out of the Red Wizard. We've got a Fast out of the Black Wizard, and we've got a Power Bonk coming out of the Knight. We still do not have the Defense Sword moved onto that Knight, which I think may be an issue here if we don't get enough Invis 2 casts off. Invis 2 gets off from the Red Wizard. And we go to the next round. We've got the white shirt coming out of the ninja. We've got another Invis 2 cast out of the red wizard. We're going to get Temper from the black wizard and another power bonk cast on the knight. Invis 2 gets off. Another white shirt cast goes off. We get the power bonk. We get the Temper from the black mage, black wizard. Oh, and chaos cast stop, stunning the ninja, stunning the red wizard, and stunning the knight. We get another temper cast from the black wizard, but we're a little stuck here. Everybody's stunned except, oh, there we go. We got the red wizard back up. The red wizard's going to go with a nuke, 182 damage on chaos. Black wizard goes with a nuke, 236. Nuke comes out from chaos, takes down the red wizard and the black wizard. Knight hits six hits for 1017, hits again with the massa, 7 hits, 1350. We know this chaos has over 2600 HP. Hits again with the mass immune, 7 hits, 127 damage. Hits again with the mass immune, 9 hits, 1808 damage. Chaos goes down for Cinema B.
Yeah, see, tale of two different Tophers right there. Wow.
With a final time of 2:25:21 SRL, we had a 4-minute difference in the finish. Get those GGs out for Cinema B for coming back and making this a much closer race.
Yeah, GG, that's awesome.
Cinema B apparently gonna join us in interview. So we're waiting for that to get going.
So, Darkmoon, what was going through your head after the first, or I think you went into Temple of Fiends and then went
Mhm.
back into Temple of Fiends for a second dive right away, or was it you went into Temple of Fiends and then you went to grind right after that first dive? What I
Yeah,
guess
I
was going
think it
through your head at that
was.
point?
I think it was my first real dive because I may have gotten bounced out once. My first real dive, I saw that Tiamat and I'm like, okay, that's gross. They have more absorb than I'm expecting, more of a lot of stuff than I'm expecting, and I just need to get some more MDef and some more hits on my knight. So I figure I'm gonna swing the Vorpal at the end, just bounce over to Astos, kill off some things, get my guy to 32. Which once I got the grind going, I was getting like 10 grand a pop. That worked well. I wasn't really on tilt until the last couple dives when I think you saw I accidentally forgot to bring a couple of my guys back to life on Kraken one time, and then he destroyed one of my characters. And then I forgot to put the Vorpal on my knight for another time, and that didn't help matters at all. And then I think Ribbon wasn't on him for Chaos on that one. The final one, I finally remembered to do all the equipment I needed to. Yeah, that was tilt there for the last 10 minutes.
It felt like you were a little upset because you had this stubborn refusal to heal anybody in between fights during that water floor.
Well, there was no
And
point. If they got zapped, they were just going to die anyway, and all of my heal pots would be gone, or the spell
oh yeah,
charges I used would be gone. So
your red wizard was wearing a ribbon, and it wasn't that he was getting zapped; it was that he was getting nuked and that he was getting thundered down.
I was
Uh,
annoyed.
it just
I was
it
annoyed.
felt
Well,
sad.
yeah, yeah, stubborn. I think you're right.
You did ultimately make it through, but that was almost an hour-long Topher. So like GG for finally getting it done. But whew,
if
that
if he'd finished while I was still in the middle of a dive, I probably would have finished the dive and then just forfeited at that point. Like I'd spent
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the decision on the Red Hydra, the R Hydra grind there. Was that just did you go head back there because you were familiar with that spot or
Mhm.
um
Hey, yeah, hey, GG Cinema B, how you doing?
Oh, doing good. Oh, that was a blast.
Yeah, that was
That
interesting.
was a
Yeah, the
movie. I want to ask you. You know, do you feel like if you had to do it all again, what is the biggest thing that you would change? Did you learn anything specific from this seed?
uh oh well I when uh Tia 1 with the stone touch wiped me, I forgot to grab the mystic key from the first floor of Mirage when I went back up. And so then I got all the way into Topher or where you need the mystic key to get it. And I was like, "Oh man, I need to go back to Mirage to go get the mystic key." So, that cost me a few minutes, but overall I was pretty happy with the way it played out because it's like the crystal was super expensive, so I ran over to Marsh and there was the chest at the top of Marsh that had 60k gold in it, so that let me get the crystal. And then when I found the floater in Ordeals and I knew that you'd have to sail all the way up there, I felt pretty good about my routing at that point because I was like, I hit the waterfall, got the ruby, swung over to Ordeals, got the floater, and I was like, that's about as soon as you would ever logically go to Ordeals in this type of situation. So I figured I got the floater about as quick as I could. You you had to double dip Earth because the canoe was in the incentivized chest behind the vampire and you needed that to get the rod. So everything was kind of like I felt good about that run. There's definitely things that I could have done differently. Like one thing that I don't know some of the magic real well, like I knew Bane was good for first level, could probably get me through Garland and stuff like that. But like I need
You missed out on the Brack potential, but that was another
see
thing.
I
No,
was
but
I couldn't remember how good Brack was, so I was just like, I don't know.
Brack is better
you
against a single target. Uh, Brack is better against a
Ah,
single target, whereas Bane is good for.
yeah,
yeah,
AoE,
absolutely.
insta
No,
death.
your routing was pretty impressive. In fact, your Darkmoon was executing a lot better than you were. You know, he's got a lot more experience, but you were
Mm.
making up a lot of ground just from excellent routing. But the thing that I thought you were gonna most learn from this seed was to save more often because I think you finished with like 18 houses, and you would like there was a point where you went all the way through Mirage. After having forgotten to reclaim the key, by the way, and you left, and like you didn't save for a while. And I was worried that you were going to reset and then be before Mirage again, not and have to go light that orb again because you just don't love to save all the time.
yeah, that was definitely the comment that we both made at that point was like if he resets here and ends up outside of Mirage with an unlit orb, I think that would break
Right.
both of us.
Yeah. That would
And
that would
incidentally,
definitely be upsetting.
you know, when you chose not to warp out and save that key, I was like, well, I really hope he doesn't wipe at the end of Sky and then forget to get the key on the way back. You know, and that
And that
turned out to be exactly what happened. You know, I've lost races like that, and that's one of the things. Like when you're get a little bit more experienced, you're just afraid of losing for stupid reasons, and that's what makes you save more.
totally. But yeah, I did actually get a couple of practice rounds in for this seed. I hadn't been running much this year of the FFR because I just haven't been playing much video games, but my city and state are in lockdown because of the global pandemic, so I'm stuck at home for the foreseeable future. So I was like, this tournament's coming at the perfect time, even if I am kind of rusty.
You're putting your best pandemic game on.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I
The
think so Cinema B, one thing that I think you missed out a little bit on, you did see the Sharks that had nuke, but
Oh yeah.
the tanky waters with Thunder and Zap, were I think what
Ooh.
really held up Darkmoon in his runs a little bit.
Yeah,
So that
water
was something
floor.
that I think you had the encounter table at the right count there to get through, and
Yeah.
not and you only saw, I think, one, maybe two water encounters, where
Yeah, I
the
didn't have any
reset
trouble
encounter
with the
for
waters.
Darkmoon, I believe, had four water encounters that just
Mm.
made that floor rough to get through.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
that
some
sucked.
uh yeah. Yeah, when I saw those great sharks with nuke, I was just like, "Oh man, at least I'm at a level where like my red mage will usually right?" So,
Hmm.
You both
but
wound up taking a lot of grinds. Can you guys talk about like what made you decide to spend so many, like, because I know Cinema, you ground to level 23 in Earth Cave very early, and then just sort of went through the rest of the seed, whereas Darkman, I believe you ground to like level 16, is that right?
16, 17. I basically just went until the levels there. I stopped until I stopped getting a level per round of death, basically. So it was like this. It felt like it was no longer worth it if I was going to have to spend 2 rounds trying to get a level against the monsters. So I just bounced out at that point.
there you go. Where did you grind at?
I went into Astos's key locked area because he had 4 red hydras, and
Oh, okay.
they were reasonably easy to kill, and they could die from like a single hit from basically anything I did. And they were worth, like, once I killed everyone else off, and for my fighter on my last grind, they were worth like 10 grand for a round of 4, so it worked out pretty well.
Nice, nice. I ended up just danning the thief, and then in the Earth Cave over by the Hall of Giants, the first
Yeah, so
so many nuke charges.
it's about time we're wrapping this up. So we're gonna go ahead and get final thoughts from you, Cinema, first.
Oh yeah, the I mean, I thought this was like a really interesting seed. You kind of had there was some weird stuff like with having to get having to sail up to ordeals to get the floater. That's always a weird one. But yeah, it was definitely a good seed. And yeah, with regards to the grind, it's just like Topher in these flag sets, like it really helps to have people who can survive through like a nuke or something. So I was just like, that's why I ground up so hard in the beginning. But yeah, I had a lot of fun though.
Excellent. GG, do you, Dark Moon, you got any final thoughts for us?
Whew, I am glad that I finally made it through that. I don't even know if anyone was keeping a count of how many times I bounced out of that stupid dungeon, but I did it. That's what matters. So GG Cinema B. That was
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna say thank you very much to Burt Reynolds, our tracker, for keeping us informed of what's going on. Because I have no attention span. Thank you, big thank you to Seranus uh, restreaming and for also providing information in chat. And thank you to Wab for joining me in the commentary booth. Wab, you got any? You want to take us out here?
Sure thing. Thanks again to both of our runners. GG's to both of you. And as Lastoid said, thank you to Bert and to Cyrenus. You guys are awesome for helping us out here. And thanks again to Lastoid for joining me in the booth. Thank you to Randomania for hosting us. Come visit the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord. If you have any questions, I think we can throw that out in chat here for anyone who's not already a part of it. GG's to our racers, and have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. GG everyone.
GG's.